true endgame of any looter type game has always been fashion. Borderlands, Warframe, Destiny, Monster Hunter, to name a few, are many games which find their players seeking to look good and feel good by the time they beat the game. Not a new idea. Fashion endgame is pretty common and something that you have to chase once the game is complete. But in Monster Hunter, you're faced with the option of fashion or function. Every armor piece has certain skills, certain movesets that you can combine to make a more useful skill set for your weapon or whatever it is you're doing, whether it's gathering or using a greatsword. Either way, you have a choice. Do you want to look good or do you want to be useful? And it's a tough choice. I'll admit making a useful armor set can be pretty ugly. See Exhibit A. All of these armor parts have useful skills for a charge plate, but oh my goodness, it's ugly. It is very ugly. But then we have this. I made, or at least I tried to make, something of a fashion set that was somewhat usable, and it wasn't terribly usable. I have a +2 fire attack on my chest piece, and it's kind of pointless. But it looks good, and I enjoy playing more when I look good. But at the same time, can it really be said that trading useful skills for fashion is worth it? Take, for example, this longsword build. While I don't have all the decorations and charms to make it amazing, I can do a lot more damage because I have weakness exploit, I have a critical boost, I have damage boost, I have the Rathlow's mastery. All these things help boost the damage that I output with the longsword and make it so that I kill monsters faster and I'm more useful in a team environment. But at the same time, I have to feel like, this is kind of ugly. I'm wearing a blue headpiece with a red chest and I can't really change the colors. And, you know, this could all be solved with the color palette, that you could actually alter the majority of the colors on armor sets versus just a few, a la Warframe or a number of other games. But that isn't an option for now, so you have to ask yourself, do you want to look good or do you want to be useful? And ultimately this video is to kind of give you an idea. I have built for fashion, I have built for function. The nice thing is, for me personally, some of my fashion involves the basal set, which means I kind of get earplugs a lot, which has been useful. At the same time, I give up damage, I give up utility, and it's just a question of what is more useful. Do you find utility better, or do you find fashion better? Personally, I think there's a middle ground. I think there's a way to get useful skills and to still look good, and that is, for me, the true endgame of Monster Hunter. To find a useful skill and an armor piece that looks good and wear all of it and still feel like I don't look like a hodgepodge of random armor parts. It's a difficult thing to achieve. Now, in gameplay, it does not matter what I look like. I'm not even paying attention to my armor, honestly. I'm paying attention to, am I about to get hit by that monster? Am I about to get gored by that guy? Am I going to get knocked back? Am I going to get roared? All of these things I'm worrying about. The last thing I care about is, do I look good? Unlike, say, a game like Warframe, where you're constantly staring at your character and you get to see what they look like. In Monster Hunter, you're so zoomed out, you're so focused on the giant monster that's trying to turn you into a little pancake on the ground, that you're not worried about what you look like. The only time that your fashion really matters is when you're in the hub, honestly. When you're walking around, when you're interacting with NPCs, when you're pairing in between hunts, that is when your fashion matters. Other than that, it doesn't really seem to make much of an impact. So, is it worth it? Well, you tell me. Skills are forever going to improve your hunts. You will always have a useful skill on an armor set, but fashion is the true endgame of any looter type game. But in Monster Hunter, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to look good for the couple of minutes we're in the hub, or do we want to do more damage, have more utility, and be more useful to our team when we go out in the field? That is the question. So fashion or function? I'm going to lean towards the middle, because that's my personal thing. I love fashion, I love the fashion endgame, but I have to admit in Monster Hunter that wearing a chest piece that gives me +2 fire attack, just because it looks good, isn't exactly the most useful thing in the world. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!